Very, very few people. I just got to wait a few seconds because we'll be live on Instagram in a moment.
Mhm.
Um, but very few people watch us live, so it's really what will happen once we actually produce the episode, which is probably a week or two away.
Mhm.
Then we'll get about 30,000 people will hear it roughly. Oh, here we are. We're now on Instagram. Good. And we'll then start about a month after the episode releases, we will uh, create these. We'll look throughout the episode for these sort of magic moments, these mini
Mhm.
moments, and we'll be chopping those up into short form video and, of course, tagging you all over the. Are you guys on TikTok as well? Are you guys TikTokers?
You know what? I am not, but that's about to change. I put it in my calendar, agenda for this Friday. I'm going to open a TikTok this Friday.
One more thing to do, right? Just another thing
Yes.
to do.
Yes. I'm missing out.
Well, it hasn't swallowed you up yet. I see TikTok swallows people up, it seems. Uh,
Yes.
it does. All right. Okay. So eventually we're going to put, a proper intro. It's just so weird doing it from my parents' house. This is the house I grew up in. So funny. Um,
Aw.
yeah, pretty funny. Uh, okay. So we're going to get started. So I'm going to eventually put a proper intro, music,
Mhm.
sponsors, blah, 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 blah. But we're
Mhm.
going to start right now for anyone that wants to
Might,
watch
this might
us
better if I look
live.
this way a little bit. It lights better.
um, whatever is most comfortable for you.
Well, then I go in my couch, but that's
Ah,
yeah.
that would be a fun, you know, you could tell me all your problems. You could say, you could
Yeah,
lay on
I'm
the couch
listening.
and,
I'm
yeah,
listening.
you could, you could tell me all of your woes. All right, let's see.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Oh, okay. My guest today is a friend of mine and somebody I'm super excited to have on the show, somebody I deeply admire. Her name is Ainhoa Garcia. She is a top 1% realtor here in Chicago. But let me tell you more about Ainhoa. Ainhoa Garcia is a Chicago real estate professional that graduated from the University of Cordoba in Spain and the University
Mhm.
of Paul Verlaine in France in translation and interpreting studies. And she moved to Chicago from Spain in 2012, discovered her passion for helping others through real estate, combining it with her love of design, business, and communication. In 2023, Ainhoa served as the elected president of NAREP Chicago and is also a co-author of a best-selling book called Latinas in Real Estate. Ainhoa is committed to making every real estate transaction memorable for her clients and leads a top producing team. Outside of work, she travels, she cooks, she volunteers, she serves, and she is an all-around just a powerhouse of a person, and I've known her for many years, and I'm super excited to have her. Please welcome Ainhoa Garcia to the show. Ainhoa, good to see you.
Hi.
Ah, first of
That
all,
was
first of
cool.
all, you and I both have Spanish names. My name is Delphin, and yours is Ainhoa, and there is no real for Delphin. There's no English equivalent. Is there an English equivalent for Ainhoa in American?
No, not at all. Not even, I mean, the sound, you can say, I know a realtor, I know just you can play with the phonetics. That's about it.
Oh, that is really funny. But you have a great, really cool name. But more importantly, is what's obviously beneath the name, which is all of your hard work and discipline and your service. By the way, I want everybody to check out Ainhoa and her partner Nancy, her teammate, on their website, AinhoaGarcia-co.com. There will be a link to that in the show notes. By the way, amazing website, really showcases you and Nancy in a way that I think is very fresh and really highlights your personality, and I think is a well done example for other realtors to follow. So AinhoaGarcia-co.com. Again, link to that in the show notes. And I want you to follow Ainhoa on Instagram. Ainhoa, what is your Instagram account?
It's Ainhoa Realtor, Ainhoa Realtor. That's my
And
handle.
we will have a link to that in the show notes. So I met Anoa many years ago. We served on a committee together at the local level here in Chicago, Illinois, at the Chicago Association of Realtors, and I was very drawn to Anoa because she was one of the people on the committee that was very serious about helping other realtors. She was very engaged, and she really was quite generous with her time. And she's generous with her time again today, being on our show. So let's start all the way at the beginning. How did you not how did you get to America? Because of course you took a plane and you got
On a
here,
plane,
but
yeah.
why did you come here in 2012?
Well, thank you so much first for the invite and all your kind words. I really, really appreciate the opportunity to share with you and your audience. Thank you for having this platform and highlighting me today. So my story in America starts in 2012, as you said, and it was pretty random. I have made a few random decisions in my life that kind of built this path into something else later. But I just saw an ad. I was in university at the lunchroom. We had a microwave area for those who didn't have money to pay for lunch at the cafeteria. I brought my little container, and I saw an ad that said, "Become an au pair and live the American dream." And I was finishing up university, and the economic crisis was pretty heavily affecting Europe, Spain, Portugal, Greece in particular. And I was like, I'm gonna finish university. I just had come back from France. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? I cannot go back home. I left when I was 16 years old. So I'm like, I cannot go back home. I need to find a solution. I need to find a job. And recently graduated, nobody was gonna hire me at my space where I was at in Spain. So I called that phone number that I saw in the ad, and I became an au pair, which, if you don't know, is a living nanny. So I came and lived here with a wonderful family in Old Town. And after the first year, I extended for another year because I realized that Chicago was so much more. The America was so much bigger. And the economic crisis was still bad. So it's like, I'm not going to go back just yet. I need to improve in my English, and I need to be surrounded by English speaking people 24/7 so I can get better at that. And I decided to stay another year, and that's when everything changed. I met a lot more friends. I started to do fun things, not necessarily just working. My English got a lot better, so that opened other doors. And I became a nanny for a family in Roscoe Village. Wonderful, wonderful family. And I was no longer a living nanny. Now I could do other things because I had an apartment and I didn't live with the family. So I could do other fun things and meet more people. And my dream just got bigger and bigger and bigger over time. And actually, it's because of the father of the second family that I'm in real estate. He told me to look, because I told him it's about time. Being here with you guys for 5 years. I love you, but I came to America with bigger dreams. I wanted that American dream, and being a nanny, even though I had no worries and it was a well-paid job, I wanted more out of life. So I said, I'm going to be thinking of leaving. And he said, why don't you do sales? Why don't you do real estate? And at that time, I didn't even know where real estate was.
Right.
And I had to kind of like Google it. So, yeah, that's kind of how things got to get started in real estate here.
It's amazing. It's something that for those of us born in this country, we often forget that people come to America for all sorts of different reasons, and highly educated people like yourself who found an opportunity here to do something, and then your being here allows you the possibility to build this business that you really wanted to build. So was it difficult, or how difficult was it being somebody who's not a native, American,
Mhm. Yeah.
to look, Chicago is where Anoa and I both reside, but there's not a huge population of Spanish people in Chicago. There's a lot of
Mhm.
people from Latin America, of course, and Mexico, but there's not a lot of Spanish. So curious on how did you start to integrate with the culture? How did you find clients? What was that process like?
So I'm very glad that you said that you corrected yourself. And you said, was it difficult or how difficult?
Yeah.
There was nothing easy about this journey, but the reward of something bigger, the vision was so much larger that I never gave up that dream. So starting, let's say that first of all, I did not speak the language. I couldn't understand when people would talk to me. I knew how to write in English, but I did not know how to speak or understand when people would talk to me. But I made it a goal. I made it a goal to learn as fast as possible. I am a linguistic person, so it didn't take me as long as I know other people might have. Um, but I just made it a goal. I was like, okay, you're gonna listen to every podcast, you're gonna talk to everybody. It doesn't matter if you have an accent or not. You're just gonna get yourself in these uncomfortable situations where you need to figure it out yourself. So the language was one of the challenges that I got to surpass or accomplish. Immigration and status as an immigrant is a whole nother
Mm,
animal.
yeah.
Because obviously, without a legal status, you cannot be in this country. So I have my own set of struggles with that part. I was in this country for a long time, almost 4 years, without being able to see my mom, my dad,
Mm,
my family, everybody that I knew home. I couldn't leave the country. If I left,
mm,
I wouldn't be able to come back because my process was, or my case was in process. So that alone made very difficult years
yeah.
of learning, of making money, of having, working 128 hours a week.
Ooh,
That's from 5:30 to 11:30, Monday through Sunday, no days off for 3 years straight.
mm,
So that's a lot. That's a lot to take, but I was very young and I was eager to do and learn and so immigration was another challenge. So the language, immigration, and then as I started taking the first steps into real estate, I realized that I didn't have that sphere of influence.
right.
Because when you are a realtor, especially a new realtor, your first clients are going to be people that already know you, they trust you,
Your friends.
or yeah, your friends. It's going to be, your mom's neighbor, your friend from college, your this person, this other person. So I did not have that.
Right.
What I had was desire of learning, love for people. So I needed to find ideas and ways to be in front of more people that over time they will learn to like me, trust me, and buy anything I would sell. So that's how kind of got everything to make sense. Once the language was not a problem, once the immigration was in process and I went through, I just picked hobbies. I picked a whole lot of different hobbies, starting with soccer, because that's something that I loved back home and that I play in co-ed teams. So I decided to join a team here. And that was a way of meeting people. Still today, I keep in touch and I sell my first homes. It was to people from my soccer sphere.
My boss, Nick, he is a hockey player, and he
Oh,
sold 20 homes over the course of his, 5 or 6 years when he was practicing to all the guys on his hockey team. And so it is funny that these passions, it's a great
mhm.
way to expand your sphere and also, do something fun for yourself, but a lot of times business comes from it.
It does. And it's not a pushy way. You're not selling really anything. You're getting to know people. People are getting to know you, who you are as a person. And then it happens. oh, that you sell real estate. Actually, I want to buy, I want to sell. I know somebody that, and that's how things started. And it was very, very organic. And that's kind of how the family, I call it my family of clients, has grown throughout the years. Hmm.
Now, you call them your family of clients. That is very
Yeah.
intentional. Tell me why you say that.
I do not have any family here in America. So any person that I would connect with, they would become at some point. I mean, if the person is very genuine, I've met all kind of people, just like everybody does, right? But for the most part, the people that I connected the most, they were very genuine, and when you become a close friend of someone or somebody that you see often, or somebody that you just like, even if you don't see them often. Like you and I don't see each other often, but I always have like a great thought and feeling about you if your name comes along, or I'm like, oh yeah, DJ.
Yeah,
It's a feeling. So that's kind of how I started creating these family feeling, is because they were my support system at times, and I consume myself with work because I didn't have family to hang out with. So I hang out with my clients, and I went to their birthdays and to their housewarmings and to anything that was family
sure.
related. Hmm.
It's I'm touching on the subject because I think it's a great opportunity for our listeners to think about is, Anoa said, "Hey, I have a family of clients." It's not a marketing piece that she's trying to do. She's not. She really truly thinks of her clients, some of her clients,
Hmm.
in that fashion, and she
Yeah.
celebrates family events with her clients.
Yes.
And I think, that's what family does. That's exactly what I'm here in Peoria for a funeral, because that's
Yep.
what my friends are, my family as well. And so, that's what you do. And that is a remarkable, really, you immerse yourself into Chicago, into our, this culture where you knew nobody, and you
Yeah.
really started. So we know you got into hobbies, but you also really started serving and volunteering.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can't imagine, you have so many there were so many difficulties in your path anyway, be it the language, no sphere of influence, no support system here. And
Hmm.
oh, by the way, I'm going to donate some of my time and energy that probably I don't have to give back to the community. So can you tell us a little bit about why you started volunteering, because as early as you did?
Actually, it was even earlier than that. I haven't shared that with you before, but the moment I landed in America, without knowing the language or anything, I knew that I wanted to feel needed. It's a feeling that I've always wanted to have. If you think of wanting to be a doctor because you're going to save lives, or somebody's going to need you so much, almost like a mother feels. So with my first job, I had a little time off, and I wanted to fill it up with something else that will make me feel needed. And
Mhm.
it started with CASA advocates, which is CASA of Cook County, court appointed special advocates. And I
Mhm.
was with the same case for 5.5 years. So if somebody doesn't know CASA, it's for children in foster care. I was technically a big sister. Um, I
Mhm.
would do monthly visits and all those things. Um, and I would go to court and present a report to the judge so they could make a decision on their placement. So I absolutely, absolutely love that because I love children and elderly people. So through real estate, I found a way to also feel needed, that I'm not getting paid because obviously I'm taking care of my clients and I'm getting paid, but I wanted to do something else that I knew I was not going to get paid, but I could put an input, I could make somebody's uh, you know job, career, business plan, anything better by just contributing. So that's why the moment I started my career in real estate, I looked for those options. And at that time, first it was NAREB, and then throughout my years in NAREB, I met other people that introduced me to YPN and other places that I volunteer my time within the industry. It started with that feeling of a need or wanting to feel needed, non paid, and of value for others. And real estate is such a broad, that it's such a broad industry. There's so much you can do with this platform. There is so much you can do within the industry. So serving was non-negotiable for me. Also, the plus of that is that I got to meet a lot more people, and meeting a lot more people. I mean, I just closed a deal with some of the YPN past members, that she didn't have the time to serve. So she sent me the referral. I took care of it. She got paid. I got paid. And it was a client I didn't have. She sent it this way because she knows how I work and she trusted me with her client. So that is also an opportunity. By doing things for others, there's always the universe like brings it back to you.
Yeah, that seems to be a recurring theme. I follow you on social media. I'm constantly checking to see what you and your partner
Mhm.
Nancy, your teammate, are up to, and you seem to be very service focused. And I'm
Mhm.
curious. So you started with soccer. Where are your passions right now? What are you passionate about these days?
I started soccer, then it was dancing. Dancing took over. But when I say dancing, I mean social dancing, salsa and bachata. I started dancing to make more friends because my international friends went for Christmas home to the respective countries. And that was around the time I was stuck in the States. So I had no friends. I Googled what to do when you have no friends. And I went to a social, and I started meeting people at dance. So dance became such a huge passion still today. Love it. Absolutely love it. And I met a lot of people too there. Cooking is a great passion of mine too, and traveling. Anytime I have an opportunity to go somewhere I have not been, I'm very curious about their culture, the place, the history, the architecture. So I would say those are probably my main ones. And when time allows, and I always make time for, I still volunteer within the community outside of real estate.
Mm,
I don't post about those. It's kind of I like it to keep it just like my private life on
sure.
the on the low end, but it still makes me very very happy.
Yeah, and you not only have you volunteered and been of service, you have served in leadership positions in organizations such as the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. So,
Mhm.
tell us about what NAREP is, and what their goals are.
Very very good question. Again, always looking for that family, that sphere, that place of calling home by, you know, being an immigrant and not having my own family here. Real estate can be a very lonely, very, very lonely career. And even though you meet all these clients, all these people, we spend a lot of time alone too when you're working on this file, on this client, behind the scenes. So the NAREP came along because of culture. Some other realtors said, you know what, I think you're going to be great, volunteering here because it's also people that look like you, speak like you, celebrate life like you, have similar core values. So why don't you start here? Why don't you meet people within this group? And that's how I got introduced to NAREP. Um, my career within NAREP, it went by fast. I don't know how to do things 50%, 70%, 25%. If I say yes to something, I'm going to give my 100%. And if I don't, then I will just not take it. So I took it I took my role as my first year on the board very, very serious. And I ended up being the fastest growing, youngest at the time president because I just worked really hard. I thought that's what everybody did. I thought that's what everybody does. So I put in a lot of time, and NAREB is different than other organizations. We put in the work ourselves. We don't have a staff that does some of the going to the venues and getting quotes and all of these other behind the scenes work. We do it all, and I did a lot. I did a lot. So leadership at that time saw that in me, and they just wanted to give me the opportunity to go into the executive board, and I skipped all the positions in the executive board and went directly to president. Well, VP, I would say. I'm sorry, vice president, with obviously the position the following year as president of the chapter. And I loved it. I learned a lot, and I gave my best. It also happened to be during the time, I don't know if we can get vulnerable here, but the most difficult time of my life where my mom was very ill, and I
Mm,
was going back and forth to Spain to um, take care of her and
mm,
her medical needs and until she left. So that was, but I never quit NARIP. That was not part of what I was going to do
mm.
because I don't quit. Just don't quit. So that's part of the leadership that I was given the opportunity to learn and to give. So that's kind of what NARIP, how NARIP, why NARIP.
And yes, and you know, well, you were sharing with me a statistic about homeowner or
Mhm.
first-time home buyers in the United States, and
Yes.
a significant percentage of those were of Hispanic origin.
Correct. Specifically 49.8% as of
Amazing.
last year. So
Wow.
almost half of the home buyers for the year are Hispanic or were Hispanic for 2023. 2024, we'll see the numbers. I'm sure will be probably around 50 or a little bit more than that. We'll see the report next March once those stats come out. But it's a huge, huge percentage.
So, what do non-Hispanic realtors what should they know about the needs of Hispanic clients? Again, people are people, everyone's ultimately the same, but within, groups they may have different needs, different specific there's differences. So I'm curious what being that half of all the home purchases were done by people with
Mhm.
who have Hispanic origin. Um, what would you suggest to somebody who wants to break into that market, wants to, start to serve those clients?
Very, very good question. So, first of all, let's move language challenge from the picture. A lot of these Hispanic stats are from first generation. There are people that are already, even though they are Hispanic, they do speak the language. So if somebody is afraid of not tapping into this market because, oh, I don't speak Spanish, so I cannot serve a Spanish client or Hispanic client, that wouldn't necessarily be the case. For the most part, they speak English. If they do not speak English, then you call me and I will take care of them and we'll work on a referral fee. So, um, with that being said, it is the word family is very, very important for Hispanic buyers. So, Hispanic buyers sometimes, or a lot of times, they buy as a family.
Hmm.
They have the parents have been working really hard, but there might still be ITIN, or not having a social security, or they might have not built a credit score throughout the years because the Hispanic community a lot of times buy in cash everything, the car, the
Hmm.
furniture. So they have not built a credit history. But their kids, now that they are over 18 and they have been in a school and they have work and they have good credit, those are now the co-borrowers or the people that they're going to go in the loan with. So we have a lot of clients like that. And we have to understand that in the showings, in the consultations, you're not just going to talk with the person on the loan, because it might be a cousin that is letting them use the signature. Okay, let me put it that way. But you need to talk with the mom, the
Yeah.
dad, the cousin. They come with two children. The grandma, I don't know if I mentioned, but the grandma is coming too. And then at the home inspection, they're gonna call the cousin and their and la cuñada and the other. So everybody is contributing to these purchase. So we have to be very receiving, very open minded, very welcoming to every decision maker, not just the person that's on the loan. This is a family affair, because a lot of times they combine their incomes
Sure.
and they buy together so
Yeah.
they can own. Hispanics want to own. They do not want to rent. So they get together and they buy. So a realtor, to be fully equipped for a Hispanic family, they need to be very welcoming. They need to understand the culture. They need to be open, even if they don't understand in full the culture. They need to be open and open minded. They need to really explain the ins and the outs of the process. For some of these families, is the first time anybody in their family ever bought a home. So
Mhm.
they have no clue. You have to speak apple to apple and
Mhm.
explain the process and sit down with them. They need more hand holding than other potential clients that their mom, their cousin, everybody else has bought a home. They lived in a home that was owned. It's just different. It's a cultural, it's a generation, it's a family affair. So those are some pointers. Happy to deep digger.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. I was really taken by the idea that yes, the families, Hispanic families, often pool their money together to purchase a home because they want to support the
Yeah,
family. They want to continue to,
yeah.
the younger ones take care of the older ones, and
Hmm.
move around as a unit, a solid unit, and that is something. So when you are working with Hispanic clients who have, their family with them, you do
Hmm.
serve many masters, I guess, and you really have to win over the whole family. But I guess this brings us back to the original point: is you become part of the family too,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah,
you
yeah,
are now you are now sort of by this amazing thing that they are now doing, a first time home purchase that they've
yeah.
saved and worked hard and struggled, and you are the gateway to this goal that they wanted to achieve. I imagine that can be very emotional. I suspect it can be very fulfilling,
Very.
and just a lot of fun, I bet.
It is. It is fun. It is emotional. It is super fulfilling, because for these families, and I have actually chills. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but you said that, and it's for them. It's not just the goal of or having a roof over their head. It is their way of belonging to this country. It is for them to set roots. It is a place of worship. It's going to be where the family gets together, where the birthdays are celebrated, where the funerals, after funerals, people get together. And it's just such a family word in there. And you're part of it. You're giving them the keys to their American dream. And and for that, they are forever grateful and loyal, working well and keeping their best interest at all times, even if it's not the home that they like. You're like, that's just not for you. Keeping their best interest and helping them achieve that goal. For them, it opens generational wealth start point. And for me, it opens a long lasting relationship where my pipeline of leads, clients, people being referred to, it's never ending,
Yeah.
because they will tell everybody that know, they know that, oh, no, 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 you need to go with Ainhoa. You absolutely need to go with Ainhoa. She will take care of you. She will do this for you. And that is not paid. That's just not paid. It
Yeah.
is it is such a fulfillment.
Wow. Well, you do not do everything alone. You have a partner, Nancy.
Yes.
So tell us about why you decided to team up. Did why you needed to have
Hmm.
another person with you, and tell us how that's going.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to talk about that. Nancy, Nancy's a brilliant person. And I say brilliant person, forget about what we do on the business side. She's just a great person to have next to you. And I have been very lucky and blessed to have met her. And this goes back to 2020. Um, I was doing very well for myself, closed about 56 transactions on my own.
Wow.
And but I started to see that my speed to response to the client was kind of decreasing. That
Hmm.
if my availability was a little bit more limited, clients were sending me homes instead of me sending them homes. Anything that had made me unique, special, hands-on was actually now being slightly neglected.
Hmm.
So I realized that at that time, I needed to do something about that because I wanted the client to receive a response right away. I wanted them to receive homes from me. I wanted them to see homes now, regardless of me doing a podcast. They should be seeing homes as they are currently. So I needed an extension of me, of how I do things. And I saw Nancy had just joined the company, and at that time I was kind of watching for some people. I watch her. I like how she will be dressed up. I like how she would carry herself, how she would speak. So we had a little dinner with all women from the company, and that day it was a day that I formally met her, just a few months after me watching her here and there. I realized that I had liked her, but until that moment to actually talk and go over things, that night was crucial. Also, we were wearing the same clothes. I don't know how we just met, and we were wearing the same outfit,
Now,
and
by the
it
way,
wasn't,
that is
you
normally
know.
a that is normally for a woman to go to an event and have the same outfit as someone else. That is like, oh my god, that's a
Yeah,
disaster. But in your
yeah.
case, it was probably wonderful.
For me, was a sign. For me, was a sign. I'm like, okay. I mean, it wasn't like an easy. Oh yeah, it's a little black dress that everybody can kind of think of. No, we're talking about like this black leather skirt, like back to the knee, the same heels, and then the top wasn't a regular, okay color, like brown, white, or no, it was this mustard yellow, and I'm like, we had the same haircut. At that time, I had my hair was very very short. It was like we were a replica. We still have the photo, and we laugh about it. So that night, I had decided that okay, these thoughts that I'm having, these being overwhelmed with work, I think this person is the person. So I talked to her, and she said yes immediately. She quit her job and she joined full time because she saw the vision and
Mm.
she saw the potential. She wanted to learn. By then, I had been already doing real estate for 4 years and part timing at the beginning, but I already had a 1 full year for full time by myself. And I've shown her some success, whatever success means to you. But for me, was quite a few closings. Clients were happy, and she was eager to learn. So she said yes, and that was 4 years ago and change, about 30 days more than that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really encourage everyone to uh, follow Anoa and Nancy on Instagram. We have links to their Instagram accounts there. Anoa Realtor is the Instagram account to follow. And what you'll find on there, which I think is really endearing to both of you, and part of the reason why I had you on the show is you two, you and your partner Nancy, you look as if you're having so much fun what talking about real estate. And I don't mean in a trivial way, like oh, trivial, everyone has fun. No, no, you're providing value and having fun. It makes me think I want to be on that team, quite honestly. I want to be, I want to have that kind of level of fun. And I think if you look at Anoa's Instagram account, you'll probably have that same reaction. So this is a really great way to think about how might I want to start doing social media videos, because look at Anoa and Nancy and what they do, and the way they do it is it's like they're sisters, right? They're like you're basically sisters, and you're doing these really impressive, fun things. Tell us about, were you always was it always a strategy to start doing videos, or was that something that you guys decided on out of the blue?
Well, we haven't even got started. That's just a little here and there. We want to do more and be like a lot more consistent with that. But truth is, we do have a lot of fun together. Outside of being realtors in the same team, we are friends, and we also not just laugh or create these videos. We also cry together, and we also go through life pains
Mhm.
together. So we have these great bond that regardless of what we do, it's always with a smile. It comes from respect, love, and care for the other person. So it's a lot easier and more fun, to be honest with you. To do this job, as I said initially, it's quite lonely. So if you find somebody that aligns with your core values, how you want to do things, works hard, and yeah, it's good to build together. For us, it comes very naturally. I mean, we're not sisters. She's from Mexico. I'm from Spain. We're not nowhere to be related. Maybe in a couple of millennia. I don't know. But I don't think so. I am a joker, and she lets me do that. She has a very creative eye, and I let her do that.
Mm.
So it's kind of complementing each other. And this life, or this life is this job, I would say, I'm sorry, it's a lifestyle. So if we're always working, if we're always doing, might as well just have some fun while doing it, because we are spending a whole lot of time together. And sometimes I get bored too, and I distract her. She distract me, and we take a pause, and I do a stupid video. Sorry, I don't know if I could say stupid, but yeah. So we have some fun. We have some fun selling houses. eh, It can be a lot more fun than some people might think. We are very professional, very serious, and sharks when we have to negotiate and get things done. But along the way, we like to enjoy time. And yeah, I think that's the motto. And because we make so many people happy, it brings us so much happiness. So it kind of brings it back.
Yeah, your social media really does radiate happiness. There's a constant stream of client appreciation events, um, uh, 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 videos about listings that you have where you're like, oh, look at this. This is so cool. This is, you're excited, you're energized. It's really passionate to you. It feels, you can feel the passion coming out of those videos. When you and Nancy decide to do a video, do you talk
Hmm.
about it ahead of time? Do you write a script? How do you guys decide on what the video is going to be?
Um, a lot of times it's impromptu. Um, when we want to be a little bit more intentional about a listing or something we're announcing or an event coming up, and we want to be a little bit more polished, we do take some time. For the most part, we come up with the idea, either Nancy or myself, and we just do it. We like to be a first shot, like your first take should be the take. So that's a lot of times when you can see some accent or some funny whatever, a little face, or and we're okay with that. We're not looking for the absolute perfect product. We're looking to being genuine and whatever comes more naturally. When it comes to an announcement or an event, and if it's a drip campaign, meaning that we're going to have a few other videos coming for that same matter. We are more strategic, and I usually come up with the script, and she always says yes.
You know, it's funny. I was just now realizing why I like your social media so much. And I'm curious if your clients ever say this to you. Because when I see that you and Nancy have thrown some sort of event for your clients,
Hmm.
it looks so much fun. It looks
It
like
is.
and I go, "Oh, I wish I would I wish I was there." And I'll bet you that the way that you showcase these events, I bet you the people that weren't able to attend have that same feeling of, "Oh, I wanted to be there. I couldn't be there, but I'm gonna be there next time." And that is particularly unique to you, I think. That is something that you and Nancy have done better than I've seen really anyone else in our marketplace do, is create these events that people smile, even if they weren't there, and they go, "Oh, I wish I was on that list. I wish I was part of that group," because it really is very welcoming. The way you guys film everything, it's truly remarkable. That I want to be part of the it's like the cool kids table at lunch in high school, right? I want to be at the cool kids table, and you guys seem like the cool kids table, right? Like I really impressed, and I suspect those events get very, very big attendance.
They do, and they do. And thank you for saying that. Yeah, um, I can feel it. I can see it. Clients that they can't make it, they send us an email or they call or they text that they were sorry they couldn't come, or they let us know in advance that they cannot come, but please let them know when the next one is. So we have, I mean, our biggest event is in the summer, and it's a summer picnic, like a cookout where no detail is missed. It's getting bigger and bigger. We have hundreds of people attend that one, and it's another way to reconnect with everybody, and nothing is fake. So the approach that we have had with our social media when it comes to these events, and maybe that's what you see, is when we have our photographer there, they can do portraits, they can ask people, hey, you want a photo together, and people are posing, or we're posing with them. That's cool. But what I want you to do, and this is what I tell the media person, what I want you to do is shots candid. Like, I need you
Mhm.
to capture moments. If a kid is painting somebody's hand or somebody's face with one of the brushes that we've given, I want you to capture that moment. I want you to capture smiles. I want you to, because that's really what's happening here. People are not just posing for a photo.
Right.
That's barely, just barely happening. People are laughing, they're connecting with one another. We have games that they're not just for kids but for adults. We play with them. The tug of war is one of the most fun, and everybody plays, and people fall, and the potato sack races, and they compete with one another, and they bring a friend, and it's just what they would do with their friends,
Right.
but it's paid off. It's all organized. You just have to show up, and we really take the time to engage and play with you. So the media person needs to capture those moments, and we like to share with the rest of our social media these, and we don't share everything. Sometimes, if some things are more private within the events, we don't share. But if it's open to everybody and people are happy with sharing, we put it there so other people can see how we do things, which is genuine, caring, detail oriented. Like, that's who we are. So we want to make sure that we show who we are and how we do things. And that's probably what you see.
I do. I think authenticity is really the cornerstone to your success. You and Nancy, in particular, it emanates from your videos. It emanates from your voice. Is you are very intentional. You don't use additional words that just to lengthen a
Mhm.
sentence, for example. But what you do is you're really intentional about giving people a good experience. And that to
Mhm.
me is really interesting. Even somebody like me who's not, by all means, really, I'm a consumer. I'm a consumer of your content and I'm attracted to the content you create because it makes me feel like, ooh, I want that. And I thought that was some of the coolest stuff for realtor social media videos that I have seen. Where if you can get another realtor to go, oh, I want to have that, then that really lights me up. So that is really what you and Nancy have done, and it's authentic. It's it's based around family. It's based around certain values, and it obviously is a lot of fun and super fulfilling. So I think if we're wrapping this up, we're really talking about authenticity. I think is just being like, what is your why? Well, you have a why, and then it's just working really 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 hard
Yeah.
to and what advice would you have for a last question for a new agent who maybe moved to Chicago like yourself with no sphere of influence? What would you tell them to do who wants to build a real estate career?
And that's a great way of wrapping this conversation, just kind of how we started. First, I would say find a hobby. And that is not something that you just randomly pick. It's something that you pick because you're good at, makes you feel happy, you have the time for, the means for. So there's no pressure on, oh, it's just too far for me. I cannot be consistent with that. No, something as simple as joining a sport or a gym or a dancing. I would recommend dancing to everybody. But dancing or cooking class or whatever it is that fits your needs and wants when it comes to hobbies. Absolutely. And be very, very consistent. And when you do attend or you do go to those hobbies, make sure to talk to people. At the end of the day, this is a business of relationships. It's always been, it will always be, regardless of AI and so many other things that they happen within this industry, is find a way to connect with more people on a one-on-one. And you might not talk to 50 people the first day, and they might not send you business right away. Then let's pick some other activity that you can do. And something that I started doing is a lot of open houses. I did not have my own listings, but if you do join a brokerage where other agents are happy to share with you their listings, you could hold open houses for them. And it's another way of meeting strangers. I didn't have money to do other marketing campaigns. So I knew that if I wanted to meet a stranger, potentially to buy a home, because if they're coming to see a home, more than likely want to buy a home. So I said, okay, well, if I know the most about these home, I would ask the listing agent everything. I will learn about the area, the restaurants, the schools, and if I will learn how many houses are for sale right in that block or in that neighborhood or in that town, and I will know the medium price point. So know your market, know your data, study, and be of value. I never push anybody to do anything when it comes to like being too salesy. It's more of a let me give you a tour, let me explain like, this and this and that. You connect with that person. I've sold many. I mean, I was the queen of open houses. My first 3 years, that's all I did. Every weekend, sometimes twice, three, four times, four open houses per weekend. Crazy, but I still sell houses to people that I met 8 years ago in open houses. So I think open houses was really, really key for me. And if you like church or any other space where you can meet more people, being a hobby or not, yeah, being part of your community, join something that is within your community and help, volunteer, serve, and you can meet more people that way. You're not saying I'm a realtor and wanting to sell houses left and right. You're there to maybe do soup kitchen or folding clothes and giving it to the Venezuelan community that is coming and they are in tents outside police stations. Bring some hot chocolate and say hello. And you never know where these opportunities will come from. Do well to others, offer value, serve, find hobbies. I think those are some things that I would do if I was to start over. And now, last one for social media. Um, if I were to start over, I would do just what we do now, but I would do a lot more video. I would talk about a specific neighborhood. I will be constantly on my phone. If I'm not busy and I don't have these clients to do everything, I will just become the Coca Cola of that specific neighborhood, because I will spend the time and I will do everything in that specific neighborhood and record it because this is free. So, well, not free, we pay for it.
Yeah, well, almost free. So you have this really what you're saying is study your market, get
Hmm.
immersed in the community, get immersed in your passions, meet people,
Hmm.
and just continue to serve. Give, give, give. And when people need a realtor, hopefully that, you become the person that they choose because they see all of these other qualities that you've presented to them authentically.
Hmm.
And they go, "Oh, I already know, I already like Anoa. Oh, and I need to buy a house." Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it works. So for anyone out there who's struggling with finding new clients, you probably don't have to find new clients. What you probably need to do is develop deeper relationships with your existing clients. Be immersed in their lives, know when their children are going to school, know what grade they're in, know what challenges the family may be facing, know when the family might be thinking of upgrading their home, right? These are all things that, if it was your best friend, you would know. And
Yeah.
so these are the kind of things that realtors can really, if they want to, really start to develop, deeper understanding of what their clients need, and therefore you'll never be out of business because people will always need a good helping hand, in particular, but they need to know that they can trust that person. So
Yeah.
you can demonstrate trust through volunteering, through passion, through other things. So I know you've said a lot today, and I am
Hmm.
just, really, really, so grateful that you were able to come on and talk to us very intentionally about how you built your business and why family is so important, and service, and just being, working really hard on top of all of that. And I just want to thank you on behalf of our audience for your time and just sharing your story with us. On behalf of Anoa and myself, we want to thank the audience too. Thank you for listening. We appreciate you. We like you. We hopefully you got some great tips and advice from Anoa, and please reach out to her. Let her know what you thought of her, some of her some great suggestions that she made. Let her know that.
Yes.
And yes, and for everyone else, please tell another realtor about this podcast. You can send them over to our website, keepingitrealpod.com, or anywhere podcasts are served. You can subscribe. Also, leave us a review. We appreciate it. Also, check out our sponsors. We love our sponsors. They have products and services for realtors to help grow their business. So please check them out. And we will see everybody on the next episode. Thanks, Anoa.
Thank you. Stay well. Be kind. See you next time.